Hello and welcome to the An Amazing Podcast. This is the contract holder with the Hype Devil D, the contract holder of the Meta Devil Matt, and the contract holder of the Manga Devil Modi. And we are talking about are we talking about Bleach or Chainsaw Man right now? I forget.
Chainsaw Man.
All right.
I did not do my Bleach homework yet. Actually, also my contract devil is feminism.
Perfect.
So.
Respect. And okay, so we're talking about Chainsaw Man, which is good because I have a lot of complicated feelings about these recent episodes.
It's so okay. Like
complicated.
Episode 6 is was so good. I loved episode 6 so much, and then watch episode 7. I wouldn't even say 7's bad. It just brings up a lot of things that I like. I have to like turn off my fun switch, and now I have to turn on my hypercritical switch.
Again. All right, so I'm enjoying Chainsaw Man right now, but I agree with you on episode 7 a lot. And for me, again, complicated because it's an age issue, literal in real life and in manga life. And it's also a cultural thing, which I'm kind of flopping on. And it's also on a structural level with Chainsaw Man. Because, like, for right now, I'm going to finish it and I'm going to like it. But I think my hype for it has died down a lot. And I think it kind of goes down to, like, a couple of things. The first thing being world, monsters, and characters. Like, for me, I think modern shonen has a very huge world building issue where My Hero, if you told me My Hero Academia, Jujutsu Kaisen, and Chainsaw Man all existed in the same universe, I would not question you at all, because like A, the world feels very samey, B, the devils don't stand out at all. Like if you look at, like, say, a Hollow or a Hollow from Bleach or a Ghoul from Tokyo Ghoul, you can tell what they are right off the bat. But I can't tell, like, a devil from Chainsaw Man to a evil spirit from, say, Jujutsu Kaisen. And another thing I kind of wanted to ask you guys is, what is this show about on a, thematic level? Because, like, My Hero Academia is clearly like hard work, perseverance, victory. Naruto is like overcoming the hatred of others and making yourself better. Dragon Ball Z is train hard, eat hard, kick ass, yada yada. But I'm having trouble like latching on to Chainsaw Man's themes.
So far, from what I could tell, is Chainsaw Man's themes are manipulation. Especially like sexual manipulation, and using people like tools and stuff. I don't know how much they're going to like explore that, but like just from the just from what we have so far, at least here in episode 7.
Yeah, because when I first I first read Chainsaw Man when it started being translated into like the official Shonen Jump. I got really interested in it, but I just dropped it. And after the first chapter, and I'm kind of seeing why I dropped it, because I am enjoying it, but I don't think there's really anything in there that's like keeping me coming. Like, aside from like the podcast and the good animation, narrative wise, I'm not being hooked as hard as I thought I would be.
You mentioned earlier about the devils not being interesting. I will say I found the Infinity Devil to be. I liked the situation that they were in. I can't speak for I think I'm pretty like indifferent about the actual design of the Infinity Devil, but I liked all of episode 6 where they're like go into a hotel,
the background,
and then
the back rooms.
The back room. It reminded me of like an SCP. But yeah, they go into the back rooms essentially, and I'm like, cool. I love it. I love like. Again, like I said in the previous episode, I love it when the show does like weird stuff because it's really or like. Just weird supernatural stuff. I like that. I like the whole situation. I like how we got to see how each character reacted to the situation. Like Denji and Power do not give a fuck. Aki is trying to like actually get shit done. Kobeni and the other guy are having a meltdown, and Himeno's acting as like the support mom pirate.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a fun way to put it.
God, I don't know if I want to get. Let's talk about episode 6 first. Let's like isolate them. You
But
okay
how do you
with
feel
that,
about
buddy?
episode 6?
What was the they're all like merged in my mind.
Episode 6
What
is when they're like
specifically?
in the hotel and they're trapped in it, and
Yeah.
Kobeni
okay.
goes fucking crazy trying to kill Denji.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all right. Well, okay, before we get to that, I just wanted to say one thing, which is when Dalton was talking about the themes. I think another theme that's like pretty big that's showing up a lot is like the theme of like appreciating what you have, because that like he keeps talking about like, oh, I used to think you know, I didn't have enough and now this is great. And like he's also always like the only character out of everyone who's always like just appreciating the good in the moment. Like even when they were trapped in the hotel, he was like, oh, at least we get to sleep as long as we want, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And like
He swallowed the
there was
barf.
he also had that like flashback when he remembered when he threw up,
Yeah.
or you know, when that dog was eating the vomit and he was like, oh, look at that, I would never do that, and then he did the same thing. So like that's like a theme that comes up a lot about like comparing yourself and appreciating what you already have, you know.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, so about episode 6 specifically, yeah, I don't even know where to start. Did you guys have any starting points or like anything specific?
What?
I have, like,
how'd you feel?
Sorry, go on.
How'd you feel about the overall like situation of them being trapped in the back rooms and the whole like conflict of should we go ahead and kill Denji to get out of here and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I thought it was pretty interesting. I thought it was pretty sad, honestly. Like that part when they were all when the Eternity Devil like pretty much gives them the ultimatum and they're all like, yeah, we should kill Denji. Yeah, we should kill Denji. Yeah, we should kill Denji. And then like in the end they decide, no, we're not going to kill him, but it's not because we like Denji or anything like that. It's just because it wouldn't be proper or whatever, right?
All
So
these
they
people are
need him
dicks.
because he's good at what he does.
But the thing that for me is like actually is really sad is just the fact that Denji's just like, he just took it like it was no big deal because he's just so used to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty sad. But yeah, I like the concept of the Eternity Devil, but I would have expected the Eternity Devil to be something much bigger. But maybe
I know.
I don't know if this is like a semi spoiler. I don't know. The Eternity Devil might come back, but I might just be crazy and I might be wrong because there's a lot of details I don't remember.
Right.
But yeah,
Careful the spoiler devil.
yeah.
Miss with that one.
Yes. Gotta love Crunchyroll.
Can we talk about Kobeni real quick? Because I have like a little rant about it.
I am
Sure.
so mixed on Kobeni. I am so like I will say for certainty, A, I don't understand the fandom's obsession with her, and B, I've never seen like you always have like these anime organizations hiring people who very much don't seem qualified for the job, who you can like kind of cross off at like you can pass off as like, oh, they're desperate so they have to like bring on these people, or like, oh, we have like killer monsters going around, we don't care about the people as long as they can handle the job. But I feel like Kobeni as a character is just such a liability. I cannot fathom why someone would like bring her on to like an organization like this.
I think the
Yeah,
better
that's
question
true.
is ask who would join an organization like this, because like I'm pretty sure they don't have a lack of people wanting to join. Oh, sorry, they don't have a lack of let me rephrase it. They don't have people like they're not going to turn away people because you just like there's a very good chance that you're just going to die on your first day
Right.
doing it.
But
Yeah,
still,
I mean,
okay, good.
I could see bringing her on at first, but like I don't understand why you would keep her on after the very first mission.
Yeah.
Like after the hotel mission, like she should have been fired. but she
Honestly,
is my favorite character. So, and also, okay, so you're saying you don't really get what's going on with the hype about Kobeni. You get like she will grow on you. She'll grow on you. Like
okay.
there's a lot of stuff happens. A lot of stuff happens throughout the series. But yeah, I can actually understand though why so many people hate her like early on because I forgot how actually annoying she was this early on in the series.
Honestly, I just feel like if you're going through all of this shit, just move out. Like, I feel like living on my own would be way more, like, preferable than killing demons or becoming a prostitute. Like, it feels like such an easy issue. This feels like an easy fix.
Well, again, I don't think
And
I
Yeah.
have enough strong world building to tell to show us that why people would be desperate enough to do it. Like, I think something good in Squid Game. I know bringing in a
yep.
non-anime thing. Is that they spend the entire first episode establishing how depressing and how hard it is to live like under poverty in the actual world to give us a reason to why characters would participate in a game that could literally kill them because sometimes that is a better alternative to, or else just like than to like living in the real world. So I think that
Don't
it
they
kind of needs
kind
to
of
establish some of that like generally.
don't they kind of do that with Denji in episode 1?
Yeah, they kind of do, but also Denji's kind of like an like a special case. Like, I wouldn't say he really represents like the every man in the in a situation because he is like insane compared to like all of them.
Okay. What are you gonna say, D?
I was gonna make this is a small tangent about Squid Game, but there's a literal Common Rider series that's basically Squid Game with superpowers, and I'm probably gonna make you guys watch that
I'm all for it. Is it happy?
eventually.
Because I have a feeling this show is just going to get even more depressing as it goes on.
So let me say this: there's a scene in it where a baby gets crushed by a giant monster. There's a scene where the main character has to watch their parents get murdered, and there's another scene where a high
That's every
school
anime.
student gets curb stomped by a bunch of like putty patrollers. So
Oh, okay,
yes and
Cool.
no.
cool.
But back to Chainsaw Man.
Okay, let me go on my Kaveni thing. I feel like the people were obsessed with her because a lot of times, people have this weird like thing tied with Kabeni, like where they have her fear tied to how cute they think she is, and then the moment that like the anime pulls up and is like, no, this person's just like legitimately traumatized and is like essentially forced to be here. People just start to because like I don't know if people who watch anime know this, but people don't react well to situations like that.
True.
And a lot of anime they'll have, especially with their like female characters, they'll like the way they act very much fits into their whole weird fetishy desire of like do you know what I'm talking about? I'm not articulating
Yeah.
it properly, but
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I feel like people
Yeah.
wanted that from Kobeni, and I'm glad they didn't do that because Kobeni's just like genuinely a sad, tragic character.
Yes.
Which is what I was
She's
kind
like
of
the-
hoping for her, and I'm glad that they actually delivered on that.
Yeah, she's like the normal one of the group. Like she's the only
Yeah.
one who's reacting. I mean, actually, there's that other guy. I forgot his name. He's also pretty normal. But yeah,
Right.
yeah, people are just weird.
Go
What
on.
did you guys think about the how he actually took out the Eternity Devil? Like with the perpetual, I thought that was so funny. The perpetual motion machine. He was like, "Yeah, I should get the Nobel Prize."
Damn right. Damn right. Denji for president, okay?
I think its funniness outweighed how kind of lazy it was. Like I thought it was like a funny thing, and it was cool how it like lasted for like what seemed like a few days. I think.
Yeah, it went like 3 days.
So, I will say
It was
this.
insane.
Yeah.
So I remember, Matt, you were talking about how when translate, like, you can somehow, like, have you mentioned that translating a manga one for one in an anime isn't always the best thing? And I definitely agree with you on this one because this is a weekly series, right, Modi, right?
Yeah.
So they usually do a kind of a thing where half the chapter would be like a fight, and then the other half would be a flashback to sort of extend the fight to keep the reader coming. But and I felt that for this episode, and I think that was a mistake because I think the constant flashbacks kind of mess with the flow of the action, and I think the whole sequence of Denji just tearing through the like Eternity Devil should have been dragged out a long time. Like, it should have been like a 7-page Muda kind of thing, but on repeat and on loop. I think we should have felt, and we should have been getting sick and tired of how excessive the violence should have been, because it feels like Denji does a quick 10-hit combo, and then 2 weeks later, a 2 weeks later tag appears, and it's just like, oh my god, I'm done, kill me, bye. It felt like this whole section lasted like 1 minute, and didn't feel like, I felt like the Eternity Devil kind of pussed out, if I'm being honest. Like, I get like how it works makes perfect sense, and I'm not faulting with that. I do feel like, though, how it was executed and how it was shown to us as an audience was kind of flawed.
So in the manga, I don't remember. I do remember that it didn't do what you're talking about in the manga, where it went for like a long sequence. But I do remember it actually felt like pretty impactful. Like, it wasn't underwhelming like this one. I agree with you. This one in the anime did feel kind of underwhelming. I don't remember how specifically he did it, but yeah, it wasn't the same. I feel like since this is anime, you're right. They probably should have gone for that route and done like a more extended long sequence to really make you feel, the eternity part of it. But yeah.
I would have preferred they outsmarted it. Again, it was like funny how it's like, well, you're the Infinite, and I get like an infinite amount of blood now, so I'm just gonna wear you out. But like, I don't know. It would have been cool if they came out.
You should really watch JoJo.
You think so?
Yeah, you should. If that's what you want, you need to be on JoJo.
It's like we've seen Denji like brute strength his way out of situations before. So like the fact that like we got our cast together and then he just kind of like resolves it the same way he always does. Like the only like cool interaction was Himeno using the ghost thing to pull on his like thing again.
I thought it was pretty clever. I feel like different characters are clever in their own ways. I thought it was pretty clever about like drinking his blood and using that to get stronger while weakening him. I thought that was I thought it was pretty good. I wouldn't have thought of it.
I do also like how it is kind of like a battle of wills and a battle of like, I guess, patience, kind of.
Yeah.
Like who's going to get tired of all of this first, kind of thing.
Yeah. And it did go for 3 days, to be fair. So I guess it's just that we didn't experience it. It didn't feel like 3 days for us, but like, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of my issues with that might be with Denji. I feel like a lot of the characters that are around him are more like interested or have more going on. Whereas I think, at least in this situation, like Denji's like pretty straightforward.
Yeah. That's something I was also bugging me because like,
really?
In terms of like
sorry, no, go ahead.
I was gonna say, in terms of characters, typically for me, it's like a character either changes or grows, or they change others around them. And I feel like with Denji, no one around him really changes or grows, and he doesn't like mature or change at all either. And I think that's one of the things that's kind of like sticking to me about this whole thing right now.
Yeah, I think you're right. I don't know. I guess I want to see him sometimes like learn a lesson from things, but like, he was kind of, his way was kind of like, well, I guess I don't know.
Is it? I mean, okay. Question: is it like? Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know, but like, I feel like it's too early to expect to see that much character changes like 7 episodes in.
Yeah.
Maybe. Maybe I'm just used to stuff that's like a season long, or like short stories that are more like not expecting
Like, okay,
to be that long. I guess.
that said, like if this ends up being like a 12 episode thing, then yeah, I think that's definitely true. We should be seeing something
By now,
by
yeah.
now. But yeah, and I mean, and also I do think we are going to see some stuff happen pretty soon too.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah, don't
Modi,
worry.
Since
Things
you
are gonna
are
shake up.
since you are a manga reader, does Denji have an arc in this?
Um. Yes. Yes, I would
Okay.
say so. Yeah,
Okay.
definitely.
Uh,
And the reason I had to think about it is because I think he might even have more than one. Like he's already had one at this point. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Either way, yeah. That's
Yeah, okay, cool.
That's the answer.
All right. Anything else about episode 6?
two things.
Yeah, no,
Sorry,
yeah,
go on.
okay,
You
go
go.
ahead.
You go first.
I wanted to talk about like the whole relationship between Aki and Himeno. What did you guys think about that?
I actually really like that.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Humana more, but I'm gonna save that for episode 7.
Oh, I forgot about something huge too. Oh, what were you gonna say?
Episode 6 made Himeno. Well, while I was watching episode 6, Himeno was my favorite character. She still might be with like an asterisk. If I said that wrong, whatever. But I really liked her whole dynamic of like tired person who's been working for the thing while she keeps on losing like partners, and that really affects her. I'll get more into it, but I really liked the stuff with Himeno in this episode.
I also really like the whole idea that like them like actively saying that no, sane people are the least qualified people to be in this job. And I like it because like it makes sense because like you can't predict what a crazy person will do, and like if these things feed on fear, then a crazy person wouldn't be affected by that as much.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and
sorry, go on.
Did you guys have any thoughts about Aki's backstory?
I think it's very Sasuke-y. It's very like it didn't stand out to me because it's just like, oh my god, the Edgelord has a dead family. Oh my god, and he's looking for revenge. Oh my god.
I
guess,
agree with you,
yeah.
D. I think he's
Wow.
I like the dynamic between Himeno and Aki, and I like Himeno. I just think Aki's kind of like we've seen a lot of. It like needs a little bit more. I don't think he's bad at all. I just don't think he's there yet. Also, I kind of found his family dying to be a little bit funny, just with how the.
I know. Like
I actually chuckled a little bit. It's really bad that I chuckled at his backstory, but I feel like they need a little bit more with Aki, because right now it is just kind of like I have to find this devil because they killed all my family.
it was just so excessive, and it was just so aggressively timed. Like, oh my god, I love my family so much. Nothing's like that's like Bruce Wayne's parents commenting about how much they love life and how much they can't wait to hang out with Uncle Ben, and then how much they love like dark alleys. Like, it's so. I remember I was watching that as like, okay, when is this family gonna die? Okay, when are they gonna die? I see the death flags. Come on.
I'm already seeing like some stuff that I can. And Modi, you're gonna have to verify this in the next few episodes, or to tell everybody else that I like called it. Because I did call it.
Okay, so this is a
like,
prediction.
I'm seeing very
on...
obvious like hints that they're dropping that I'll explain later on. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay. All right.
But as far as
wait.
Sorry, go on.
I just wanted to say I disagree with both of you guys about the backstory. I thought it was really good, and it was like pretty shocking too when they all died, and but yeah, when you put it that way, it does remind me. It does feel cliche, but I think maybe the way it was done wasn't cliche because you weren't expecting it to happen that way. I guess, right? Because the flashback starts off with him not liking his brother, right? and it ends with him maybe starting to like his brother, and then all of a sudden his brother dies just like that, and it's after he sent his brother into the house. I don't know, to me it's like
that is cool actually. Like usually with they're all like happy and friendly with each other, but at least we got like a situation where like they weren't as, you know, there was some conflict happening with the family before the tragedy happened.
Yeah, like to me, I don't know, to me I thought it was interesting, and it worked, at least for me. It worked in making me sympathize a lot more with Aki.
I still feel like Aki's a bit boring, and not in a sense that like he's like the straight man, more so in the sense that he's like he feels very samey to other characters like his type.
I'm trying to figure out what the difference between him and the Sasuke character from Jujutsu Kaisen was or is.
They're very similar. It's
yeah.
Oh, Fushiguro, is that his name?
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
or Megumi.
Guy with the girl.
Megumi,
yeah, Megumi. Yeah, there we go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Before we move on to episode 4, can I bring up? This is not episode 4. Episode 7. Can I bring up two things that I have in my notes here?
Okay.
I really like the shot of Aki's blood and Himeno staring into the. And you could see like the reflection of Himeno, because like it was, you know, she doesn't want him to die, and it was like her fault that he ended up getting stabbed or whatever. And then also Power says he's spicy. I don't remember what the exact situation was, but she made a spy pun by saying spicy.
I like that. I appreciate that. I mean,
that's all I have that in my notes. I'm just not sure where that was.
I also have one more thing before we move on to episode 7. And it's one more thing about Himeno and Aki, which is that moment when they were talking about like what they were going to do because they weren't going to give up, what's his name, Denji. And Aki was like, well, worst comes to worst, I'll just use the sword, right? And then it's like it flips a switch, and then all of a sudden, like, Himeno is just dead serious, and she's like right in his face, and she's like, no, you're not doing that.
Yeah,
and
I'm to kill Denji. All right.
to me, that's kind of, that moment is kind of like it encapsulates the series, like the tone of the series, because on the surface everyone's like all lighthearted and joking around and not taking anything seriously, but like not even that far below the surface everything's actually really serious, and like everyone's worried to death, and that's the reason that people hate Kobeni so much, because Kobeni's the only one actually showing it. And then so like that moment when she just gets like really serious, it just shows that like despite all her joking, she's just like, she's scared, and she does it, and she, you know, she wants it to end, and she's like, yeah.
Okay.
So
also,
I thought that was pretty important.
I like that about Himeno, but you know, we're gonna get to that later.
Also, one more thing about like Aki. So Fushiguro is the quiet edgelord character who has the ability to summon demon dogs by doing shadow puppets, and has an instant kill move that he keeps getting cock blocked into using. Aki is an edgelord who wears dark colors, who can summon dog-esque demons by using shadow puppetry, and has an instant kill move.
I mentioned this D.
Yeah.
The parallels are scary, but it also makes sense.
Like, again, like this. So you're saying this was made in the same year as Jujutsu Kaisen? You don't say. Okay.
Yeah, it's almost like they wrote it together, like in the same room. They're like, okay, we'll trade. You can have this idea, I'll take this one. Okay.
Copy my homework, but don't make it obvious.
Yeah.
Fushiguro is nice Sasuke, and Aki is vanilla Fushiguro.
All right, yeah. So episode 7. Anyone want to start off? I feel like you guys have a lot. I wasn't as for me, episode 7 didn't like shake me as much, and it wasn't as big of a deal for me. So I'm interested to see what you guys have to say about it.
Okay, so they have something really interesting set up, but they never capitalize on it. Like, I love how Denji is I love the idea of Denji being this horny teenager who's looking for that final thing to make his life perfect, and who, like, oh, it must be boobs, it must be sex, it must be that. That's what I'm missing. I love the idea of him constantly pursuing this and it always ending in disappointment. Like, he risks his life to grow power, but she stuffs her bra, or like he risks his life to make out with Himeno and she barfs down his throat. I love the idea of him like having this very superficial, super like pointless dream that he constantly tries to fight for, and it constantly blows up in his face. But I hate the fact that it doesn't. Like, he gets to grow Makima, or he gets to have sex with Himeno. I hate that so much because I don't know. Like, I think if he was constantly punished for that, or constantly going, like him constantly feeling disappointment from it, could lead to a very interesting like character moment where he does have to like figure out what he's missing, and has to figure out that, like, okay, sex and just cardinal indulgence isn't doing it for me. What am I missing? I like that idea. I like that idea so much. I'm just sick and tired of them like, nope, sex, like he wanted sex, he got it, boom, reward him for it. It feels so much duller, like less interesting for me.
My problems are actually different from yours, but
the 16-year-old thing.
That's the primary one. There's more to it than that, but dude's fucking 16. He's
yeah.
That like as soon as he says that recontextualizes like the entire series to be a lot more serious, and makes the little funny, goofy aha moments a little bit more weird and kind of sussy on the show. Because like I don't.
Okay,
they were doing like okay with it before, but then like now that he's like underage, you're now saying that I don't even know if I could. I don't want to say this to like trigger off YouTube censors, but like these are grown ass adults manipulating Denji with sexual favors, and
yes,
that's like there's also a big problem like with media in general about when it comes to men and consent. If men are put into a situation where there's no consent, it's played off as laughs. This guy is 16. He should be in fucking high school, and we have all these authority figures that are like taking advantage of him, and it makes it a lot more. The show can frame it in a way that makes it creepy, but I don't think they really do that. A lot of times the way the framing is awooga, look, you get to see this character like half naked, or you get to see like it's not, it's like a really serious like problem that they brought up that they're not, I don't think they're handling too well yet.
If the genders were reversed, this would be a hard R horror ass show. Oh my freaking god.
Well, that's the thing. Anime does this kind of stuff. Like they still. I mean, look at like My Hero. Like it's funny, haha, when the grape boy goes around spying on girls, or is like groping them, and it's like that's not. We need to stop saying that that's funny, because it's really fucked up. And not saying that like you can't cover these topics, but I just think the framing's all weird.
Because like for me, it's a complicated issue because, like you put up a lot of really good points, and I do think that it would be very interesting to have all of this stuff addressed. But again, this is a manga targeted to 14-year-old, 16-year-old boys. And if I was at that age reading this, I would be saying to myself, like, yeah, go Denji, this is awesome. But now, having graduated college, I'm like, this is very problematic.
No, and that's the thing. Like, you think that you want that. Like, your fantasy, your fantastical situations are going to be different from what reality is. And even if, like, it's already, like, weird that Himeno can't control herself when she's drunk, and then she like brings home Denji, and then there's like gets him drunk, and there's like like that whole thing in itself is weird. But when you add the like extra factor of like their ages, it gets even fucking weirder.
No, it's worse because like as soon as he like says his age, she acknowledges that. Like
Yeah.
she is shocked by his age, and that like they point out that like, oh shit, you're 16. Oh my god. Like
It's almost like the show is like purposely putting in that conflict without actually like doing.
Well,
we haven't even seen the
I think
result
that's
of
the-
what or if they
so-
actually do it, but I don't
Okay.
think they do. But you know,
So I think all of that is exactly the point. I don't think the show tries to like. I think the show is very blatantly and obviously showing like these are not good people. It does that like at every turn, and even some of their character intros are them being pieces of shit. So I feel
Yeah.
like it's
I think it's
I
how
think-
it's contextualized
I
though.
think what's interesting about this show is that it's very real because it's showing you real people and still kind of making you like them. Not even kind of. It's making you like them, which is just showing.
It's the framing,
it's-
Modi. It's the framing.
So it's
that's
just-
the problem.
so-
I highly agree with that.
So I think
Like,
it's
if
just.
you look
Hold
at,
on, let me finish.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
sorry.
think
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like, it's just reflecting reality, you know, and I don't think it's making it. It's not glorifying it, and it's not making them look good. It's making them. It even points out like, whoa, this is really weird. And then, but they just continue going on, just like in real life. You know, I don't think it's promoting it. Essentially, is what I'm saying.
I want, so again, I think it's a framing method to give you a like. Let's look to give it like is like let's look at an example from Western media, and the two shows I'm thinking about are Rick and Morty and Inside Job. Each series has very, very, very flawed characters, but Rick and Morty, especially in the earlier seasons, glorifies the characters being pieces of shit. Where a show like Inside Job definitely like acknowledges and plays around, and it never glorifies the characters being pieces of shit.
Yeah.
I think Chainsaw Man's issue is they have these very flawed characters, but they frame these moments as like, haha, this is so nice. Like, they frame, like, the ending of episode 7 where I'm gonna say, adult woman seduces a 16-year-old boy isn't framed as a stranger danger moment. It is framed as a, oh man, this guy's getting a reward. Good for Denji. Like,
Well.
it doesn't frame it as a, you know.
Wouldn't you say it's getting framed from Denchi's perspective?
Yes.
So
But that being said, it's not being framed as it's being framed in a very distorted view, in my opinion. It's not being framed as how it is. It's being framed as how like a horny teenager kind of frames it, which isn't how I guess.
Well, when you say how it is, what do you mean how it is? Because what it is that's just up to perspective. So it's just a matter of choosing the perspective. You frame it.
Fair enough.
You frame it from, yeah.
Honestly, you are kind of right, because, like, again, this can be viewed in many different angles. Like, if this is, and this is the thing, it's being designed for a 16-year-old viewer, and, again, I'm a post-grad old fart, and I'm having, like, it is not designed, like, this is shonen, and this isn't seinen, this is shonen, and I think this is just a generational gap that I'm kind of hitting, sort of.
Modi, here's the thing: if you are correct about because I don't have enough, I've not seen the show long, and I haven't seen enough of the show to like make, because we haven't even seen them like do it yet. Even though everything leading up to the situation still like fucked. I'm not saying you can't have those situations. Like, there's plenty of stuff that I like where they have characters that do like awful, terrible things, and they show it because like it makes sense for the story, and that's what it happens like for the story. It's just like, I don't know. I feel like there's ways of accomplishing it without the way that they did it. And it doesn't help that like, at the end they're playing like romantic music and like, I don't know. Like,
I think I really want them to sort of acknowledge that. One thing I really like about it is this isn't a good situation. Like, Denji is still being abused, he is still being used, and he's still being, like, manipulated by people larger than him. And I kind of wish they would sort of play up the fact that, yeah, this is not a happy situation. Like, he is in a very bad position, but they never put that to focus, I think.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess for me, from my perspective, it doesn't feel that weird to me because from the beginning, it's clear that every single person who works at the public devil hunting place is kind of like not
Sussy.
is crazy and definitely not normal, like extremely not normal, right? So
Honestly,
but
it's like to me it's like to me
we want to see the women
it's
do
like
that. Sorry, go on.
I think it's and I don't know, I do think there is a specific goal to have the theme of manipulation, of sexual manipulation, definitely. I like I said, I just don't think it's like, I don't think that the only way a series, like a piece of fiction, can and or should present a topic is if it is putting it down. I'm not necessarily sure that it should be promoting it. It depends. I would say it depends on the context, but I don't think just presenting it is a bad thing.
I do. Okay, so one thing I do want to point out, and I do that this deserves a lot of praise for, is the first thing is we all agree that this is a pretty good show, but the fact that it can be a good show, but also has us debating it from different angles, I think is something that should be really praised for. Like, we watched Bleach, and we're all like pretty much in agreement about it. It is a good show that is also like the creator has created a good show that also leads into good discussions. And I do think that's something that isn't praised enough in media.
Well, that's
Yeah,
why I'm being
I
like
agree.
hypercritical about it, because I actually do really like the show. So and when I start to really like the show, I get invested in it. So I like to like think about these. I think also, I think I'm very biased as well because I really started to like Himeno after episode 6, and then like immediately seeing the character that I really like do something really deplorable is annoying, especially when like we don't really see like a lot of other of like any of the male characters really do that yet either. So it's like,
can you imagine if Kobeni was in this situation?
I'd be fucking terrified. But like also at the same hand, like I think it might also work in Himeno's character because she gets like too attached to like new recruits who because like they instantly die, and that just creates this like cycle of depression for her. So her getting like
this romantically involved with someone
not even romantic, like sexually, because I don't know if there's a lot of romance going on between her and characters, but like kind of makes sense for her. It's a bit unfortunate that you have like a good female character and you're tying it into like pervy like sex stuff, I guess. It's just like, I don't know. I kind of wish they left it at her barfing into his mouth, and then maybe they could have this scene where it like almost happens, and then like afterwards they get to explore that more with her character and Denji's thoughts about it too. I don't feel like they're going to explore Himeno much, and with this whole situation. I just, and like again, I want to make it clear that I don't think it's necessarily a bad thing that they do this. I just think that it'd be really tactful about how they're going to like approach topics like these, and I feel like him being 16 just kind of adds this that you could achieve the same results without it also like I wouldn't say
opening up a huge can of
I wouldn't
worms and
say
implications.
it's hard to say glorifying, but like there are some topics where it's like it does happen and we need to make sure that like it's always like looked down upon because like it shouldn't happen. Like we shouldn't be like okay with it happening. God,
I disagree with that. I think that's too restrictive, personally.
If you have,
I think that's like restrictive to the point of even being prudish.
If you have a like a movie about like Nazi propaganda or whatever, right? Like I feel like you need to be careful with something like that because if you like start to say that this kind of ideology, like if you don't bring any like if you only bring positives about a certain ideology, then you start to like endorse it or normalize it.
Well, yeah, of course you have to be careful, but that's when you have to actually get into the weeds and the context of what's actually being presented. And I think when you do that in the case of this series specifically, to me, it doesn't hold up as something that like is should be like admonished for that.
Again, at the same time, it is sort of a theming thing because this is like... Because that's the hard thing, because this isn't made for adults. It is made for, like, teenagers. And this is... I think it is the issue is the expectation versus reality, or, like, the design... Like, we're projecting what we would want this to be when we're ignoring what it is, what it is. It's like saying that Family Guy should take a bigger stance on X when it's a poo-poo pee-pee ha-ha tee-hee show where it isn't really like the spot to kind of do that.
Yeah, like, I agree with that too. I also think that especially when it comes to art, I think there's even less of a responsibility to like try to push any certain message one way or the other. Not that you can or can't, but I'm just saying that you shouldn't feel responsible to present any topic in any certain way just because you're having that topic.
Chainsaw Man exists in a genre that is ripe with making gags and making awooga moments out of God, I don't know how to put it without like using words. They make light of
like women,
like sexualizing women, women against their consent. I'd much rather start to see work that's condemning that rather than like continuing to propagate it as normal.
I would meet in the middle. Like, I remember I was watching a channel called Wisecrack, and they were talking about like the responsibility of media, and they made an interesting point where it's not the point of media to glorify or admonish something. It's the responsibility of media to portray it in a neutral way, to like bring it to your attention, but not push it in a awooga way or a shame on you way. So I would say go the neutral route. Don't make it romantic. Don't make it like bad. Just like have the moments and then let the audience make the call for if it's bad or if it's good or not.
Again, we also I haven't seen them handle it yet, so it's all going to depend on how they handle it in the next episode or how they handle it like in the future. Because this is I think this is going to be like a running theme of like Denji and getting manipulated by women.
Yes,
which
it's
another unfortunate thing. I'm glad Akobeni's there, or else I would just kind of like the show would be damn women be evil.
I do appreciate the fact that they have a very incel-ish protagonist being constantly manipulated by women. So I do give that I do give it credit for that.
I want to call Denji an incel.
Like, I do kind of find that funny.
I want to call him an incel, but I mean,
he's by definition an incel. What do you mean?
No, I mean
literally
he's 16.
an incel.
I don't know what he's expecting. But like
he definitely is from episode 1 he is expecting something.
Unlike Menno and Makima and all that, he actually respects women's consent.
Yes,
which
that's not
is beyond incel behavior.
I mean, okay, so if you're having a broad definition of incel, but to me, incel is just literally.
He's
anyway,
down
yeah,
bad.
right.
That's what he is.
Yeah,
he's
definitely.
really down bad.
For sure.
Like, he is incel adjacent.
He used to be in high school. I don't know what the fuck he's doing hunting demons.
Can I spoil something?
Yeah.
Can I spoil something?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. You know how there's part 1 and part 2 of Chainsaw Man, and the anime's doing part 1 right now, right? And part 2 just started. Mm. Part 2 is the school arc. So there you go. God. Are you happy? I wasn't going to say, but
to go to school. Oh my god!
I wasn't going to say that you
actually go to school.
Oh. Okay. I'm going to spoil something a little more to fix that spoil that I just did. It's the school arc, but it's not anything like you would ever expect, I think.
Okay.
Please tell me the villain of the arc is the Child Protective Services devil. Please tell me that.
I don't know, because I haven't actually started reading, so I don't know.
I would, like, if they introduce Child Protective Services into this, I would, like, okay, the boob grabby scene, if they had the balls to just be like, after he gropes, like, Makima, only for him to realize that she's stuffing too, and him, like, dealing with the existential crushingness of that, I would give him this a 10 out of 10. But if the ending of this has Child Protective Services coming in and then forcing him into high school, I would give, like, my score for this would again be a 12 out of 10. It's like that Robot Chicken sketch where, like, Piccolo's training Gohan and then all of a sudden he gets arrested by Child Protective Services. Oh my god.
I never saw that, but that's so funny. That's such a good concept. And yeah, no comment. Who knows? Maybe
I just wish, like, cause I think there's a lot interesting going on with Himeno. I don't like how they threw this in with the mix.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't know. Like, again, it's on theme and it's like,
right.
I just still think the framing could have been better, and I feel like they could have gotten the same result without it being like adding an extra issue of Denji being a literal child.
Listen, he isn't 16. He's 18 minus 2. Just think about it that way.
No.
Also, I don't want to get technical because I don't feel like I need to get technical to like defend this. But
yeah.
There's the whole, Japan culture, America culture, age of consent in Japan, age of consent here, things are different, blah, 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 blah.
Which is complicated as well.
There's all of that. I don't feel like we need to, but the thing is, I don't even feel like we need to get into that to defend it. But if we did, that is a pretty solid defense too, especially in terms of how they see it.
A major problem. It's a problem I have with the other anime is that Japan in anime has a problem with sexualizing children. Like, it's bad.
Again, age of consent is complicated in Japan, and we would need a full-on video
have to do like a lecture
just
course.
Yeah, and I think we need to put our feet down because I hate how it's like always prevalent in really popular stuff to the point where like main characters who you're supposed to like are just super like pervy towards like underage women, and it's like, or girls rather I should say. And it's, but I like just stop. Like, I get
mean,
it.
what do you mean?
What
do you mean by put your feet down?
Just
I will also say this, that I don't want that because, and again, this is a complicated issue, and this is just my own like flawed opinion towards it. But if you censor one thing, you lose another thing.
Yes, I think we should
Because-
stop depicting characters under the age of 18 as in a sexual manner. That's
Right.
that I am fully willing to censor that, and we already do that in the States.
Okay, I mean,
But
okay.
in the States, we also have Family Guy and Rick and Morty, and we all have, like, I feel like Japan and America are two, I feel like, and this is going off topic wild, but I feel like Japan and America were two very opposite sides of the spectrum, where with animation, we were afraid to go anything past, like, TV7, where Japan is, like, super willing to go way far past, like, NC-18. But I do think that's why I kind of like where American animation is going, because I don't think we're ever going to like be able to pull Japan back from how horny it is. But I do think with a lot of like American media, we are looking at the good parts of Japanese anime, and we are trying to like integrate it into our own stuff, like Castlevania, Arcane, Invincible. We are like Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I am happy that we are learning from the good parts of anime and implementing
We're
our
filtering out
stuff
the weird shit.
while leaving out. Yes,
Yeah, I totally agree with you, D, about that. I was gonna pretty much say something similar along those lines, which is that, yeah, I think the solution, if you have a problem with it, I don't like the talk of like putting your feet down, because I feel like that's just kind of entitled, because you're just like a consumer of someone's work that they made. I think that, like, you know,
but
hold on,
these-
let me just finish
Okay,
this, and then
sorry.
you can
Yeah.
I think that if you have a problem, you either A, make something of your own that's not like that, or B, just go consume something that is like that and support stuff
That'd be
that
fine.
is like that.
Sorry.
And-
I still let you continue. Sorry.
Yeah, and I think that like that is happening, and I think that's a good thing. Like that is happening more and more, and I just think that it's just like, I don't know, especially when you tie into the fact that, to me, it just I'm extra uncomfortable doing it as an American, because I just don't like talking about other, like, even though I think I'm right, I don't like judging so harshly other people's cultures, you know. I don't know.
listen. If history has taught me anything, Western cultures going into other countries and forcing their will on it only results in great things.
In fact, actually, when I think about
I'm just saying.
what led to the birth of hentai? Literally, what led to the birth of hentai? It's us. We started it. It's our own fault.
Yep.
Again, it's not the problem of having like big boobied hentai or whatever. You have to understand that these shows, they don't exist in a vacuum. There's like real life problems, and there's real life like issues that media can create or are spawned by. And I think that yes, I don't like policing other cultures, but like these kinds of issues do hurt people. They hurt young women in Japan and in here, and it's something that like I'm perfectly okay with being like, no, that's not okay, and we should not be like accepting media that propagates stuff like that, because it is like a big problem.
I agree with that. I'm in support of that. But I will also say that life isn't nuanced, and it is not a place where, like, there are no scalpels in life, unfortunately. A lot of times people operate with sledgehammers, and I do feel like sometimes we are given the choice of either hentai or imperialism, and I think that is kind of the world we live in, and I'm willing to choose, like, I'm willing to ignore hentai to avoid imperialism.
It's not just hentai though; it's kids.
Fair enough.
It's
Yeah,
like there are like, again,
I-
I'm all about not sticking my nose in other people's businesses, but like
I think
it's sorry, go on.
I mean, okay, it's not just about sticking.
I was going to say that we aren't, like, this is, okay, so also, this isn't us trying to tell one culture how to do something. This is just our reaction to, like, this is our Western perspective on a different issue. And I do think that, like, this isn't us telling one culture how to do. This is just us talking our knee-jerk reactions and everything.
I don't even have a problem with either of your opinions, even though I don't necessarily I don't necessarily agree with them. I just think,
how dare you not agree with us?
yeah,
this is the internet, sir.
my just main issue is just that I just don't like the idea of trying to punish or admonish the creator of Chainsaw Man for this, because like I don't know, for something like, because like it's
this
just,
is anime as a whole. I'm not even saying this particular Chainsaw Man episode. I think it makes me uncomfortable. Again, it just depends on how it's gonna, like, how they're gonna handle it, and how
I think the other issue isn't with Chainsaw Man. It's just like with it's an issue with the medium, and I think that is something that, again, we learn from the best of it, but we learn from the best and we learn from the worst, and we use that to sort of inform and elevate our own work. But it is something we should be aware of, and it is something we should also take notice of.
Like, I don't like how lollies are normalized in anime. Like, it's just fine seeing it. Like, that's just like an anime thing, you know. I don't like how stuff like that's normalized, or like homophobia in anime, you know.
Yeah. Like, no lollies, all milfs.
Milfs are fine.
Yep,
I support that.
What shows have you seen homophobia in? Because I haven't seen that many.
It's not really homophobia. It's just like the stereotype of the very over-the-top flamboyant gay person.
Oh,
or like, it's also the or like the whole trope of like lesbians in anime being super thirsty and like very handsy.
Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, not all anime is like that. It's just like it's stuff that is kind of like normalized in like some mainstream
it's
all right.
It is like it's just like, it's not saying like we're, it's just like another thing that's just like an issue of, it's just like a environmental kind of thing, because like, my brain, I lost my point. I'm along for the ride at this point.
Okay. All right. All right. Yeah. Yeah. No, that was a good discussion. Anything else? Any final things you want to say before we?
We kind of got off topic. This.
Well, I mean, that I feel like that's
episodes?
the main stuff you wanted to talk about when it comes to episode 7, right?
Yeah, I pretty much. Again, I would have been. Yeah, everything else is fun. I like how they do. Again, it's crazy that they have outros for unique to each episode.
Yeah.
And
the one for 7 was really good. That was my favorite one so far, I think.
Okay.
Well, 7 was uncomfortable.
I love,
that ending though. Damn. Okay.
I loved. I definitely am a big fan of the third one by Maximum the Hormone. Oh, it's a classic band for me.
Oh, by ending I meant the credits scene, not the.
Yeah. ED. We speak anime. Anime.
I just remembered.
How would you rate the episode?
Wait, sorry. I just remember one more thing, which is, did we even talk about the puke moment when she puked in his mouth?
What puke moment? I don't remember seeing that.
What?
It was censored. It was censored, so I don't know. Those cowards. It was
Okay,
that was one of those moments where it was like a lot less funny than I thought it would, because I knew about the puke moment, and people were like hyping it up about it being it's so, oh my god, and it's just like, it's just like awful all around. One that Himeno like has zero self-control about the way that she drinks, and also that I thought I would find it funny that like what Dee was saying, that Denji was like, oh, I'm getting my first kiss, and then like his first kiss ends up being barf, but then like they just made it really sad, which isn't like a bad thing. It's just like I don't get the Chainsaw Man fan base sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was
really
appropriate,
can't wait.
And I wish the episode ended there. I thought it was appropriate for like the show.
I agree with you on that. And again, I can't wait. We're gonna force you to watch JoJo soon, so get ready for horse races and Jesus.
Also, why was no one looking out for Denji and Himeno to make sure that they didn't do anything sussy? Also reflects badly on their friends.
I'm impressed you assume they're friends. I'm pretty sure Aki is just like, oh my god, one less psycho in my house, thank God. And I'm pretty sure like Power's just like, yay, more stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Final ratings.
I'm gonna give this podcast episode a 10 out of 10. This is my favorite, one of our favorite discussions.
Really?
Thought we talked a lot about, had a lot of fun stuff.
Okay.
I thought I really enjoyed the energy. I loved the back and forth. And I'm going to give these recent 2 episodes if I'm being very objective, I want to give it a 8 out of 10. I did think had a lot of really good animation, a really good set piece. I thought the visuals and the integration of 2D and 3D was incredibly masterful. I thought the recent 2 ending themes were really great. And I'm trying to think what else did I really like about it. Fighting, animation, character dynamics outside the bar moment. Because a lot of it did feel very overly extended, and I think if they just cut off the barf moment and overly exaggerated it. This is a weird example, but there was a show on Cartoon Network called Total Drama Island that, this is a weird note, but it handled barf jokes in a very interesting way, and I think it could have learned something from it. This could have learned something from that. But all in all, I'll detract the semi-anticlimactic nature of the whole, like, Eternity Devil's death and the whole Denji not needing to be 16 for any of this. And that'll probably bring it all down to an 8 out of 10 for me.
Well, sorry, it's getting cold up here on my high horse. I need to step down for a sec.
Don't worry, we're gonna make you watch Bleach next week.
That's what it feels like. It feels like Denji appreciating food and like not eating barf. It feels like when I watch Bleach, you guys like are puking in my mouths, and then I go to like any other anime, I'm like,
oh
this
my
stuff,
God.
this
Okay,
is immaculate.
listen.
It's golden. It's just
Listen.
like a regular sandwich.
I cannot stand.
That's what we're here for.
I acknowledge I'm not someone who's going to defend Bleach to the death, but I can't stand when you when you just
Bleach isn't
trash
actually
it
that bad.
badly.
Bleach isn't that as bad as I'm making it out, but
Yeah, it's not.
yeah.
bad.
honestly, I'm glad I talked with you guys about this because I feel like Modi, I like your perspective on it, and I feel like I'm starting to gravitate towards it more. So honestly, I'm still like kind of processing my thoughts about it, which I think is actually cool that anime, when anime makes you think and care about characters.
Who would have thought
And
Chainsaw
I
Man
agree
would
with
make you
that.
The
think?
fact that
That's
I
wild.
felt
Like-
betrayed by Himeno, I think, is cool. Like,
Yeah,
not
true.
the fact
Like,
that it
any
happened, but like the fact that I'm like, goddamn, I don't know.
Yeah, that counts for something.
Any show that can create a good active discussion like this is a good show, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes shows are just
Yeah.
so good that everyone just agrees, like Arcane.
That's boring, though. And I don't agree with Arcane. The ending was crap.
The ending was good.
Okay.
But yeah,
That's your opinion.
it's hard to. I hate rating these things, but I actually really liked these episodes despite my reservations from it. So I'm gonna like. My favorite episode was like I liked the Infinity arc in general, but I still have complicated feelings about what we discussed. So I'm gonna give it 8 Kobeni cars and Himeno puke out of 10.
Perfect.
I don't know how you know about Kobeni cars, but good job. Good job.
I know that meme. I know
Also,
that.
that reminds me about something. The last time we did the Chainsaw Man review, I said that Kobeni was my number 1 character, but I actually made a mistake. Kobeni's car is my number 1 character. Kobeni's
Right.
number 2.
No one could actually like Kobeni.
Yeah, no, definitely. And my rating is a 7, just because for me the centerpiece of this batch of episodes was the Eternity Devil fight / death, and I thought that was underwhelming. So yeah, I give it a 7. Otherwise, pretty good, and the endings were very good too. So yeah, that has been our review of episodes 5 through 7 of Chainsaw Man. Come back 2 weeks from now for reviews of 8 and 9. Next week will be Bleach. Which ones? Help me. Bleach.
8 and 7.
Yes.
No, 6 and 7.
No, 7,
6, 7, 8.
7, 8. Yeah.
And the following week, we're going to review The Fall of Twitter.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's coming. That's coming up. All right. Yeah. So thank you for watching, and see you then. Bye.
All right, bye.
Bye.